right, and we are taking a live look this Friday morning at Ground Zero in New York City, where a memorial will mark the terror attacks on U.S. soil 14 years ago today. Once again, family members will be on site to read the names of the victims this morning. Of course, that is near where the World Trade Towers once stood and, of course, collapsed on 9/11. Now, earlier this morning, an American flag was unfurled at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. This is video of that moment. Of course, all told, 14 years ago, 2,996 people were killed in New York, Washington, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Several memorials are planned around the country, including several memorials right here in the Valley. There will be one at UND today. There will also be a 9/11 memorial on the Veterans Memorial Bridge between Fargo and Moorhead. Both of those get started at 9 this morning. A very good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for waking up with the Valley today. I'm Kyle Bosch. Lisa Bedeau has the day off, and we're just getting started with nonstop news and weather all the way to the top of the hour to help you plan your day. And we do want to get started with weather this morning. Definitely cold out there as we hit 651. 32 degrees hit in some parts of the Valley, Lisa Green?
Yes, Northern Valley especially. That's where it's coldest. So if you are planning to head out to those memorials this morning, make sure you wear your jacket. You might want to wear a hat too. It's going to be pretty chilly out there during the morning hours. Eventually rising, but we do have that frost advisory until 9 a.m. So a couple more hours on this, and this is for the northern half of the valley for most of us there, and our western viewers as well. That stretches all the way toward the Montana line there. Here's a look at our temperatures. A lot of 30s showing up here. We're hanging on to 48 degrees in Fargo, 35 in Jamestown, 37 in Oaks, Gwinner's at 39, Detroit Lakes is at 43, and Fergus Falls also at 43 degrees. Kyle mentioned that 32-degree temperature. The big winner can do. I don't know if you consider yourself winners there with that 32-degree temperature. It's chilly to be stuck out there, but I guess you have a little bragging rights this morning there. And in Langdon, we're at 34 degrees, 39 in Devil's Lake. In Thief River Falls, we're at 43. In contrast, in Foston, at 34 degrees right now. So a cool start, a frosty start to our Friday. In addition to that, with clear skies and very light wind, the visibility is low in some places. We're at less than a mile, half mile in Hallock, 3/4 of a mile rather, over in Jamestown and up toward Badette. So some patchy fog has also developed. So heading out to the bus stop this morning, make sure your kids are ready for some chilly weather, especially in those areas where I mentioned we were in the 30s. I think around that 7:30 time frame, and when the kids are heading into school, will be closer to the mid-40s in Fargo. Moorhead, wind lighten out of the north and will stay more northerly throughout the daytime hours today. Once again, rising back into the mid to upper 60s in Fargo, feeling once again like autumn. And I think more places will get to 60 degrees today than we did yesterday. And that trend will continue. We'll start to see our temperatures rise by Saturday morning. We get a southerly wind switch, and that'll keep our temperatures from dropping as much as they did this morning. A high of 45 in Fargo, and more places hanging on to the 40s tomorrow morning. Saturday, 74 degrees the high, and for Sunday, a high of 78. Looking good for this weekend. Now it's time for traffic on the ones. Here's the Valley Today's Al Ahmed.
Traffic's looking pretty good this morning as well, Lisa. Yesterday at this time, we had a mess out here on Interstate 94, the Minnesota side, but most of the work has moved east out of the metro area. There's still going to be some issues out there, but in the metro area, things are flowing along pretty well. Traffic on Interstate 94 is pretty thick, particularly westbound. Eastbound, not quite so much. I want to remind you of a stalled car westbound Interstate 94, just west of the Vets Boulevard ramp. Also just getting word of a vehicle crash, two-vehicle crash at 13th Avenue and 17th Street in Fargo. Make sure you're mindful of that. A lot of traffic out on Interstate 29 northbound as well. Al Ahmed, Valley Today traffic.
You have a chance this weekend and today to help make a difference for people in the Valley who are fighting cancer. It's the Radiothon and other big events for the Roger Maris Cancer Center, known as 61 for 61. The Valley Today's Christy Larson is live this morning in South Fargo, where all of the action is underway this morning. Hi, Christy.
Good morning, Kyle. That's right. You know, all the action just got started this morning at about 6 o'clock. We have the Radiothon going on right now with 107.9. The Fox, they are going to be taking numbers, and their hotline is open. They're going to be taking donations now for the rest of the day. And so you can call that number. We do want to put it up on your screen right now, 701-478-6161. And in the past years that they've done this, they've helped raise more than $1.8 million, and that's thanks because of the community. You know, I just got the chance to talk with Robbie and Dave, who are with the radio station. I also did talk with a cancer patient. His name is Jason. He right now is going through chemotherapy for colon cancer, and he said that these events are so important because it really does help give more money towards that cancer patient care, also for that research and also for survivorship. And so we have quite a few people already out here this morning. They're helping out getting those donations. They have a drive-through already open, so if you're running out the door on your way to work, you can just stop on in. You can just drive through, drop off your donation, and if you are donating $20 or more, you do get a t-shirt with it as well. And Kyle, there's so many events that are going to be happening today, so many different ways you can donate. Touch a truck. There's also going to be some barbecues going out at the family fair locations, and there's going to be a candlelight later tonight. The motorcycle ride, as you can hear, we've had some motorcycles here this morning. They're going to be riding out tomorrow in Sabin for all the 61 for 61. So Kyle, so many different events. You can check valleynewslive.com. Look under that hot button for more events.
All right, Christy Larson reporting live. Such a great event, and it's raised more than $1 million over the years in so many ways to get involved. Thanks, Christy. Police are crediting neighbors for tipping them off to alleged drug dealings near the MSU Moorhead campus. Police arrested Mark Longoria, Randy Hernandez, and Jose Granados yesterday on drug charges. Officers say they found meth, marijuana, $10,000 in cash, and a gun at a home on the 900 block of 13th Street South. Now, homeowners tell us that they've seen suspicious activity in that area for several years, and they're surprised it went on for so long. Moorhead police do tell us that more arrests are possible in this case. Police in the Twin Cities say the deaths of 5 family members at a home on Lake Minnetonka are an apparent murder-suicide. Police were called to a welfare check at the home in the suburb of Greenwood yesterday and found the bodies of 2 adults and 3 children. It was the husband's co-worker who called police when they were concerned that the man didn't show up for work. Police are not yet releasing the manner of deaths. Police in Dilworth say a suspect in the robbery of a Dairy Queen might have a few battle scars from the Wednesday night incident. That's because the woman working at DQ tossed the cash register at him and then started fighting him. Police say that the guy went in through the back door of the Dairy Queen and demanded money. The woman working refused, and that's when the fight started. Friends of the woman say she is okay, but pretty beaten up.
I mean, they got into a fist fight. You know how people say you're supposed to give in? She's like, no, sorry. I mean, they were scratching and he was hitting her. I mean, like I told you, she got a black eye and she got cuts in her shoulder. I think he broke her collarbone.
Police tell us the suspect's about 20 years old, possibly Hispanic with dark hair and an unshaved face. Friday morning means it's time to get a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Fargo police asking you to keep an eye out for this man, Joshua Frank. He's wanted for failing to register as a sex offender, which is a felony. Call your local law enforcement if you have any information. The team is ready, the fans are ready, and we are ready for tomorrow's home opener for Bison football. Alex Egan and DJ Colt are going to be breaking down the game with our hour-long Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame show to get you ready for the game against Weber State. And speaking of the game, you can just keep it right on KVLY straight through. Ryan Shawn and Chris Berg will have the call from the Dome, and we'll make sure you get there early for the National Championship banner raising. Again, our coverage tomorrow starts at 1:30. Kickoff is at 2:30. This weekend, also the home opener for UND football. They're set to play Drake at the Alara Center, coming off their big win over Wyoming last weekend. That game time, 5 p.m. tomorrow. UND fans will also be celebrating the 50th annual Potato Bowl. All right, speaking of football, let's get our answer to our question of the morning on Facebook. 3% of NFL fans do this while watching a football game on TV. That may have included Robert Hahn, a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, as he was maybe, did he throw his remote at the TV last night when they lost to the Patriots? Maybe, but that's the answer. Throw something at the TV, your remote, your cell phone, whatever you're going to do.
That's passion.
There's a lot of passion involved in football. I am definitely guilty of that when I watch my Vikings find interesting ways to blow games. Yep. You can take part in our question of the morning by heading to our Valley News Live Facebook page. Well, this weekend we've been talking a lot about football. I mean, it really feels like football weather this morning, but tomorrow a lot better for tailgating.
Sure, yeah. Tonight for high school football games, it's going to be a little cool for those folks, but then tomorrow, much nicer. Our temperature is not quite as cool to start for your early morning tailgaters. and high of 74 for Saturday, just in time for the football season there.
Oh, just the excuse tonight to, you know, you pack the blanket,
Yes.
have some hot cocoa and hot cider.
That sounds perfect, actually, to me.
Not a bad way to spend a Friday night. That is our time on this Friday morning. We do have more local news and weather coming up in just about 30 minutes, and of course throughout the day at valleynewslive.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.